Hi everybody, and welcome to part 3 of my ongoing rebuttal of Dr. Jerry's creation versus evolution videos. So, what have you got for us today, Jerry?
The second thing that I like to point out is this. There has been found some pollen, okay, by geologists in amber. You remember amber, that's the substance that the DNA was found in Jurassic Park, but it's real. And in that amber, in the Hakatai Shale, which is the bottom layer of rocks in the Grand Canyon, where we see exposed what the evolutionists will tell us are all the layers of rock in the known world, this goes back to a time, they say, when there was no life. There are no fossils in it, so there was no life.
Okay, you're actually getting your creationist conspiracies a little bit mixed up here. Let's see if I can untangle them and then deal with each argument separately. First up, you mentioned that pollen was found in amber, and I'll get to that in just a second. But you also mentioned that the amber was found in Hakatai Shale. That is not true. The amber wasn't found in Hakatai Shale, but that shale has also, well, supposedly been found to contain ancient pollen. Now, you've got two issues here. Pollen found in amber, and pollen found in Hakatai Shale. I can see how you got the two mixed up. I just wanted to clarify your argument before I dealt with them. But you also said that the Hakatai Shale is the bottom layer of rock that dates back to a time when there was no life. Oh, that's just utter bollocks. The Hakatai Shale is about 1.2 billion years old, while there are verified fossil evidence of photosynthetic life forms dating back well over 3 billion years. So either you're just making up this bollocks for your own argument, or your evolutionist textbook is well out of date.
Now, how do you explain 2.8 billion years ago flowering plants? Can't get pollen without flowering plants.
Alrighty, so the issue here is, how do we get relatively modern pollen showing up in ancient amber and shale samples? Easy. One word. Contamination. Pollen is everywhere. Just ask anyone with allergies. And it's been raining down almost constantly since the Devonian era, around 400 million years ago. It gets in the groundwaters and seeps down into aquifers and porous rock, leading to the contaminated samples. And of course, as soon as any rock layers are uncovered by erosion, they are then showered with pollen as well. So, just a quick history lesson. In 1966, C.F. Burdick published the remarkable claim that evidence exists for the presence of flowering plants in the lowest layers of Precambrian sedimentary rock of the Grand Canyon. This was laughingly dismissed by the scientists at the time as simply being a case of contamination. Nevertheless, a scientist took these claims seriously and decided to investigate for himself. Dr. Chadwick of the Southwestern Adventist University in Texas collected 50 new samples from the same sites that Burdick had originally taken his, but this time he did so under controlled conditions to minimize any chance of contamination. The samples were then prepared in a similar, albeit far more cautious manner, and to the astonishing surprise of absolutely no one, no pollen was found. Incidentally, a sample of soil was taken from near where the shale samples had been collected. The pollen levels found in this open and exposed soil sample approximately matched those reported by Burdick to have come from the Hakatai Shale. Bad science does not make for a good argument. And as usual, I'll post my sources up in the sidebar. So, what else have you got for us, Dr. Jerry?
In South Africa, they were digging in some mines, some of the deepest holes that have ever been drilled, maybe the deepest holes that have ever been drilled in the earth, and they got all the way down to the Precambrian layer.
I think he means Precambrian.
Again, a layer where there's not supposed to be any life, anything at all.
More bollocks! Precambrian fossils, while rare, are still well documented and show evidence of prokaryotic life dating back as far as 3.5 billion years. But anyway, what's your point?
3 billion years old. What did they find? They found some man-made objects.
Really? Are you sure they're man-made and not just naturally occurring, well-documented phenomena?
And here's a picture of what they found. These are round metal balls. Are they 3 billion years old? Or is this rock layer maybe not 3 billion years old? Well, you have to make a choice here. Which one is it?
Jerry, these are called concretions. They're naturally occurring, well-documented, and found all over the world. In fact, here's some from New Zealand, the Moeraki boulders. Concretions are formed when minerals precipitate out of a porous host sediment, often around a nucleus. When this happens in successive layers, you often get radial growth resulting in beautiful spherical shapes. These concretions are often harder than the host strata and are more resistant to weathering, leaving them behind as surrounding rock erodes.
And you know what the evolutionist will tell you here. they'll hope you don't bring it up. And if you do bring it up, you're not welcome. And if you bring it up as an academic, you're in trouble. Your tenure is in trouble. Your reputation is in trouble. Your job may be in trouble. You just can't bring it up.
Well, sure, but only if you go around claiming that they're man-made and therefore disprove evolution.
Okay? Now, the biggest thing, and this is the last thing I'm going to talk about here, that in my mind makes evolution a scientific impossibility at this point in terms of what they've discovered is this. There are no intermediary species.
Yes, there are.
For life to have evolved from one form to another form, there has to be that in-between form, the intermediary species, the missing link, if you like. Where is the missing link? It's missing. That's why they call it the missing link.
Actually, Jerry, you might be surprised to learn that missing link isn't really a scientific term, nor is kind for that matter. These days, scientists tend to talk in terms of transitional species when talking about speciation.
Okay? So if an animal evolved from one form to another, and if that developmental process took millions or billions of years, the fossil record, which is throughout 70% of the rock layer, the layer of minerals on the Earth, sedimentary rock.
Where are you getting these numbers from? Also, don't forget that 70% of the Earth's surface is underwater, and that fossilization is an extremely rare event.
That fossil record should be laden with these intermediary species.
Oh, it is. In fact, it could be argued that every single fossil is an example of an intermediate species, transitional fossil.
To date, the number discovered, 0.
Well, let's just take a look, shall we? Here we go, Wikipedia, transitional fossils. Let's see what we can find. Okay, ooh, numerous examples exist. I wonder where this takes us. Hey, look, a list of transitional fossils. Let's go down and have a look. We've got nautilids to ammonoids. Okay, invertebrates to fish. Yep. Going down further, fish to tetrapods. Oh, I wonder if they've got Tiktaalik. Oh, yes, look, there we go. We've got Tiktaalik. Great. Let's see what else there is here. Going down. Amphibians to amniotes. Aha, new reptiles. Great. Going down. Synapsids, which are the mammal-like reptiles. Plenty of examples there. Dinosaurs to birds. Have we got Archaeopteryx? Ah, yes, there we go. Archaeopteryx, my favorite. Great. Going down further, what have we got? Evolution of whales. I guess we must have Ambulocetus. Ah, there we go. Ambulocetus. Great. How many more do we have here? Going down further. Evolution of horses. Okay. Oh, human evolution. We've got Ida there. Going down further. Anything? Oh, Australopithecus. Yep. Homo habilis. Great. Homo erectus. We've also got pterosaurs. And that's the end of this list, but, you know, still adding to it. But I guess it's plenty more than 0.
Okay? Doesn't that make you question? Doesn't that make you say, wait a minute, evolution is a theory. Wait a minute, evolution has not been proven.
Yes, it has. Conclusively. Just because you think that evolution somehow invalidates your personal beliefs doesn't make the facts go away. I'm sorry, but the universe does not bend to your ignorance.
Wait a minute, I'm not a nut if I question that.
Yes, you are.
I'm not a non-scientist.
Yes, you are.
And that doesn't even address the issue of how can something that's an intermediary life form sustain itself? How can it survive? If something has half scales and half feathers, can it swim? Probably not. Can it fly? Probably not. So how does it survive? Because that's a principal tenet of evolution.
Alrighty, well firstly it's already been well established that some dinosaurs had feathers, including one of my favourites, Archaeopteryx. Secondly, scales are poor insulators, while feathers on the other hand are excellent insulators. Skethers, as you call them, would offer better insulation to a reptile and allow it to remain active longer. An obvious evolutionary advantage. Makes sense, doesn't it, Jerry?
La 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 la.
Well, Jerry, I don't know about you, but I've had a great time deconstructing all of your arguments against evolution. But if you feel I missed anything, or if there's anything you'd like to add, you know where to find me. And lastly, to all my viewers, thanks for all the support and the comments you've been giving me. I really appreciate it. And don't worry, I don't think we'll see the last of Dr. Jerry. So, thanks for watching, and as always, keep learning. Cheers.